like you said, the balding definitely came from the trend abuse, Masteron. I didn't really dip into Primo or any heavy stuff like that.
Trend
Usually,
really has the ability to rip people's hair out, and it doesn't get talked about enough.
no, it doesn't.
Everyone always talks about the prolactin issues with trend, and they don't realize that like it's gonna rip your hair to pieces.
Dude, it's gonna fall right out because of the fact that it's so tarnished and harsh because of the negative side effects. Like most people need to understand that Tren is probably the most anabolic drug you can ever take. It will do more for you than you can even fathom in your mind. So I want you to think about the strongest you've ever felt and the most pumped and great you ever felt and the most confident you felt. Times that by about 100. That's I do on hand to God. I remember many times going to the gym and just eating a breakfast, letting it digest, going to the gym, getting a back pump in, like a curl. So when Arnold used to say I could do one set and get the best pump in there, he's not wrong. You go there and do some curls, your arms are blowing out, and you're like, this is unreal how great I feel. And people just question you like, dude, how'd you just bench press 455? I don't even know. How'd you squat 650? I don't know because I'm not a strength competitor. You know, in my prime, I'm sorry, not 650. I deadlifted 650, squatted 550. Bench press 455. But people were asking me, I'm like, it's got to be the trend because I was banging 500-600 milligrams a week. So that's unhealthy and not advocated for. Yeah.
So what was, like, if you want to talk about dosages and compounds, your worst cycle ever?
Like worse, like negative side effects on me, or
like just way too much, too many side effects, just other things are falling apart, like the blood work looks bad.
Yeah, what blood work? Yeah. So I remember a cycle I took a long time ago, and I have to say this just for everybody that's listening. Don't even try this stuff. It's terrible. No. Do not do it. It's not worth it. You can look at my pictures now, how I look compared to what I used to look. And I know that most people say, well, you're not natty now. Look at the transition I went through. I went from a beefy, steroided junkie to a sloppy build, skinny fat, 210-pound man. And then I realized, okay, I have to do something to change this. I was able to transition my body to what it is now. And I weigh 211. I'm the lightest I've been in years. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I look the greatest I've looked. It's really mind blowing to me because I literally don't think I eat that little bit of food. I still eat a lot of food. I still train hard. I'm still benching, 4 plates in here and there occasionally. It's just crazy to me because I've never been this light and this muscular, I guess you could say. So the muscle maturity is real right now. But back to my harshest cycle ever. I ran testosterone probably. Man, I don't even feel safe saying this. Like, it was stupid. I was running about 750 to 1,000 milligrams of test a week. So I added in there Masteron propionate each other day, about 100 milligrams a day. I was running Anavar from anywhere from 20 to 40. I had Anadrol on top of that, 50 milligrams a day. I believe I had a little bit of Equipoise or Deca, one of those two in there.
Interesting.
I was banging out about 600 a week. And I'm like, okay, we're going to get big and we're going to get strong. Now, I remember having headaches and I was ignoring them. I'm like, I'm probably dehydrated. No, my blood pressure was sky high.
Oh, and no.
Sky high. I remember at work one day, I put the thing on the blood pressure machine, and I was reading it. The cuff, yes. And it was, I was pretty flattered too, because they're like, we have to get the big cuff out. You damn right you do. So and I'm like, oh my gosh, like my blood pressure was stupid high. Like the upper number is never really the issue. It's always the bottom number. And it was really high to where they almost called a squad. And I'm like, no, don't call a squad. They're like, well, what's wrong with you? I was like, I just got done running. They're like, why were you running? I was like, to a man down. I work in corrections, so it makes sense on that. But I didn't. I literally just walked there, and that's all I did. And I was that high.
We talk like 160, 110?
So I think it was like 170.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was high. It was bad. And that's when I freaked out, and I was like, okay, I got to take something. 170 over like it was I think it was 110. It might be like 105. It might have been 112, 115 if I think about it now. So it was high. They were talking about calling a squad, and I talked them out of it. And I went to a buddy that was actually the one that got me on the stuff and got me hooked up with it. I was like, hey, my blood pressure is whacked. He's like, cool. He gave me some kind of remedy to go get. We threw it together. It was supposed to help. And I remember getting headaches, lightheaded. I was hungry nonstop from the trend, because trend will make you just marvelously starving. Like you can't stop eating. Like it's
how much trend were you doing?
About 400 a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
So we're talking over 2 grams a week.
Yeah, of supplements. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I was eating crap foods on the weekends. I was drinking and binging at the bar, and somehow maintaining a nice six-pack, muscular skeleton. Dude, it's one of the most. It's one of the most. How do I word it? It's one of the most intense moments or intense drugs you'll ever take without having any narcotic side effect. Like it does,
Yeah.
you take it and you don't feel high from it, but you get high off of how people make you feel on it. And yeah, so actually, fast forward about 4 or 5 weeks on that cycle, and I had to stop it because I was holding water, my ankles were swelling, my joints were hurting so bad to where my muscles were growing stronger, but my joints and ligaments weren't catching up. They weren't able to grow stronger as quickly. So my elbows were hurting, my shoulders. And then I remember I came off all of it but test, and I think the Anavar. And I dropped almost instantly in 2 weeks or less. I dropped probably 15 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I went from like 245 to like 230, and people were like, "Dude, you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" "Oh, it look like you're losing weight." Like, yeah, I'm dead. But it just nothing lasts forever, and that's where so many bodybuilders have died recently because of these abusing anabolic steroids and HGH and taking peptides they don't understand. It's just so much that I wish people would listen to other people that have been through it. Like, hey, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to give you the secret here. Like, you're wasting your money, your time. That's the biggest thing. You're wasting so much money because once you come off this stuff, you are going to lose all them gains no matter what you do.
Do you remember if you were taking Caber for the trend?
Most definitely. I had to get some Caber. Prolactin issues were real because I was having, I don't know if I was having itchy plus sore tenderness there in the chest area.
Yep.
Where I couldn't even wear a shirt sometimes because it was just so tender.
Yep.
And that was real. That was from the trend, obviously, in the master on, I think. I was having something else too. I wasn't having a whole lot of ED issues, but I was having a lot of sleep issues from the trend and night sweats.
Night sweats.
Yep. Trend cough. Trend cough is serious. You can almost taste the metallicness every time it happened. You could just taste metal, copper. You're like, holy crap, what is that? Like, I remember one time I fell out. I didn't fall unconscious. Sorry. I fell down because I couldn't breathe. I was holding my chest. I'm like, I think I'm having a heart attack. And my wife at the time was just like, what is going on? I'm like, I don't know. I researched it and it came up trend cough. Call my buddy. Hey, what is this? He's like, oh, yeah, it's just trend cough. And then he says, don't worry about it, man. It'll go away. Like, I thought I was dying, bro. What do you mean it'll go away? Like, I thought death was taking me. So, again, this is my experience. I don't know. Some people may not have that experience. But I think it's pretty important to bring up the fact that Chris Brumstead himself was talking about trend and said he hasn't taken it in years because he didn't like how it made him feel. That's how potent this stuff is.
Well, he's also having issues with his kidneys, and it's something where it's like an autoimmune thing. He's talking about getting a kidney transplant at some point, and Dren is probably one of the only drugs out there that would directly harm your kidneys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's scary as hell to me because the kidney can't regenerate like the heart or the liver can. You can have high liver enzymes in Anavar, pull the Anavar 6 months, it's fine. You can have like the left ventricular hypertrophy, which bodybuilders will develop. The scary thing is if you don't come off the stuff, and that can actually shrink back down over the course of a couple of years. Right. Kidneys, they cannot regrow back, and that filters your blood and everything.
Yeah, he's dealing with that, and like you said, a lot of bodybuilders had those issues with kidneys. Flex Wheeler was one. He had a lot of issues with his kidneys, and he had arguably one of the greatest physiques in history of bodybuilding. Oh, yeah. I think he's by far one of the most uncrowned Mr. Olympias in the world because how great he looked. But I guess that's what happens when you go against 8-time Mr. Olympia Ronnie Coleman. You know, but
no way be Ronnie Coleman.
No, man. I mean, Jay got that one on him, and that was it. And then Ronnie was done. But you know, Flex obviously I think he's missing half a leg now, and he's fucked up, man. But it's just it's the pro. You have to. I mean, what's your goals? That's where I always ask people like, they want to run a cycle. Well, what's your goals? Do you want to live a long time? Do you want to live a long, happy life? Because you're going to have medical issues. You do this for a long time at our age. You know, I'm 35 years old, and I've done what I'm speaking on was just 6 years ago. I was doing this stuff, and I'm already feeling healthier, looking better. I will say this: that steroids will make you look older. They age you, and people are like, "No, man. That's just because no, it's the stress on the body. The body can only handle so much stress before it starts to have a direct correlation to reflecting itself on your physical appearance." So, you know, another great example would be Seth Fiorce. I love his content. I love what he represents. Feroci, yes, sorry.
Yeah, Feroci.
Yes, Feroci. And he just looks old. Now, he's not much older than me, but it's just the fact that he just had a stressful life due to all the gear he ran. And he admits it. He tells everybody, it has aged me a couple of years, but he's back on the path of what's called fuckable and functional. So he's back on that lifestyle. So that's good.
And so I was actually debating someone about this not too long ago and kind of wanted your take on it. And maybe it's different for just TRT or run steroids, but does steroids actually age you, or do they give you just the face of someone with high testosterone, and that's correlated, at least in our society, with age and experience?
That's a good way to ask. That's a good question, actually, because I think you're right. I think it might give them the face. Again, I think everything comes down to your skin texture, your skin tone, everything like that comes down to stress correlated through your life, cortisol levels, estrogen levels, whatever, testosterone levels. So I think you're right, because with higher testosterone comes higher estrogen, and then what happens is the body reflects that. So you'll have moon face is what they call it when you're on, you can almost instantly tell when someone's on cycle, their face gets pudgy.
Deca, D-ball, anything, their face looks like it gained 5 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a good way to point it out, is that, maybe the drugs have a direct correlation to just make the face look aged and used like you're using, but maybe not the body. Because I will say that a lot of older men that are on TRT, because as we get older, our body doesn't have it. And it's one of the biggest components we need as men to be men.